special guest, and it's none other than Gary McCook. Welcome, boss. How you doing?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Blessed
You
in the
call him
afternoon to
Gary
you.
McCook. If you call him Gary McCook in the KC audience, them wonder is who that.
You must have to bring up Gary, boy. KC, I tell you.
You can't listen. Fortis,
Yes.
sir. Fortis
What
forever.
is it? What is it?
Garfield McCook, my schoolmate, my friend. Garfield is a cadet. I remember that too, right?
Yes,
Used to
yes,
give little
yes.
trouble at a cadet, but
You know, you have to mix
go
it
on.
up.
Go
The
on.
only trouble I think Sam probably do is that him polish him shoes them so bright it blind you, so you couldn't see him.
No, he never polished him shoes at all. That was part of the problem. But we have history, and of course, today's program, as you just rightly announced, God, is historic because we're on the cusp of Jamaica is on the cusp of its 60th independence anniversary, and of course, there are celebrations that are attendant to that, and there are some elements of Jamaican independence, our festival traditions that the average Jamaican want to maintain. And one of them is the festival song, correct?
Yes.
And so, there's a lot of noise going on around the place. Garfield represents his organization, the Jamaica Independence Festival Song competition. In fact, let me restate that the Jamaica International Independence Festival Song competition. Did I get that right, Mr. McCook?
It's actually foreign. We replaced festival with foreign a year ago, so it's a Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition.
Foreign song competition. Perfect.
You need to change that spelling to Farin, Farrin.
Will do, God.
Yes, and so Garfield has been grappling with this for the last couple of years, if I remember correctly, and he's going to tell you his own story himself. But I just want to, as an introduction, to sort of set the stage, so as we develop this discussion. On the back end of that, there are some conflicts brewing within the Jamaican festival fraternity or community, if you will. What with the announcements by the minister in Parliament a few days ago that this year there won't be a festival song, a national festival song to commemorate the 60th independence celebration. The general reaction back home in Jamaica is one of aghast.
Consternation.
People are shocked, if you will. Right?
Outrage.
And the outrage is now petering out. And so, knowing Gary had been working on this thing for a while, I saw, and he has always kept us abreast of his own activities.
We get about 1 million texts every week, brethren.
And then I saw where at the beginning of this month he had his organization had settled down on 12 songs for the Jamaica Foreign Festival.
We're going to give the listeners a sneak peek of all of these songs. So we're not going to
absolutely.
play out the whole light, but we're going to give them a little
Right, because
snippet.
Gary have his own thing and his own marketing. This is providing some exposure on the one hand, and as well as broadening the discussion for the public generally, and at the same time to the inclusion of the diaspora coming into the fray. Right, Garfield, let me give you the opportunity to at this stage to just throw your own comments into the ring.
In 2019, 2020, when I realized that it was not possible for me to submit a song to the country I so loved, I decided to try and do it myself. So we started there, and in 2020, I wrote a song, Give Me Jamaica, which is our theme song, and I've been doing very well. So I could not enter my own competition, so I had to find a way to get in. So I did the theme song. So the theme song would always be there being played, Give Me Jamaica. That's where we are. Our first year last year was a bit tense. It being our first, no one knew us. no one wanted to sponsor us. So I basically went out with faith and basically self-sponsored the event, and had a resounding response. Had 20 artists that responded, and certified Yaawd, a Jamaican living in Canada, was the winner. And let me just explain our competition, so that we don't compete but complement Jamaica, is only available for Jamaicans living in the diaspora or folks of Jamaican descent. So that was our first thing, not to compete but to complement. So that's where we are, and here we are today having a great conversation about 2022.
But it looked like, if just to use a colloquial expression, them say we drop off a head, drop on shoulder, because to maintain the vernacular, it want favor like the stone that the builder refused is set to become the head cornerstone, because 2 years ago you're trying to you were trying to get a look in to the local competition. Never happened. You went ahead with your own thing. This year, I suspect you maintain an entirely different approach, kind of growing up. But the situation in Jamaica now has become one where, if you're not careful, the Jamaica foreign song is the Jamaica 60 song for the 60th independence anniversary. You're not do so bad. You can't complain.
No, and I mean, I think I'm blessed to have had that foresight to come up with our own song here to give Jamaican artists in the diaspora that platform that we so badly needed. And not knowing that this year we would be propelled to apparently be going to be the voice, the musical voice of Jamaican independence in this our Golden Jubilee year. So, I mean, foresight is good. I'm saddened at what's going on back home, and I wish them well. I wish them well.
All right. Don't fire all of your shot yet, because here's what I want us to do. Because I had the opportunity yesterday to be on a press conference about the same thing, and so I think that will, to a large extent, influence some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. You, though, as I mentioned earlier, selected 12 songs which are now the songs that will be vying for the winner of your contest. And so what we're going to do, God, let's touch the first two songs from the batch. And we want to talk a little bit more with you about the whole concept of festival song. Is it on the wane? Where is the popularity? And I'm not necessarily asking you to speak from a Jamaican standpoint, because there are different views on that. But certainly here in the diaspora, and among some other questions. Over to you, God. Well, yeah. So like we're on the cusp of a round the island trip. No, but so sound good. I watching Garfield a rock, and I can't deny that my foot on the bottom a shake a little bit too. But here question, Garfield. And again, I must use the opportunity from Sunday Scoops.
Those two songs were Our Jamaica and Jamaica Holiday.
There you go. And I know you're going to tell us a little bit more about that, though, Garfield. But
and the artist them.
Yeah, I would just want to use the opportunity from Sunday Scoops and Yaawd Media, certainly, perspective to congratulate you on the effort, for the foresight to bring something like this to the table. The criteria, though, for selection, beyond the ethnic or nationality relationships, in terms of the entries, what would have been the criteria that you would have required from your entrants as far as putting a song together was concerned?
Yeah, well, I sat and thought long and hard about that, because we just didn't want any mediocre song. And I said to myself, using an analogy, I'm going to give them the formula or the ingredients so that they can know what they're going to mix in these songs. So I came up with originality. Had to be original. So originality, vocal quality, production quality, and last but not least, so that it applies to Jamaica, the relevance to the Jamaican culture. So those are the 4 criteria. So we gave them that, and basically we gave them the answer sheet. And as a result of that, the product, or 2 of the products that you just listened to, is a result of a sound menu, if you want to call it.
Here's a follow-up question, because the beyond being Jamaican, was this song contest geared to amateurs, professionals, in terms of the stature of the presenter performer? What would have been was there any limitations imposed on the caliber of the performer?
No. We thought that once you're living in diaspora and you're Jamaican, and we needed to give you a platform. So we did not restrict. Initially, when I started, I was going to go with amateurs because I said, nah. And then the committee met with me and said, look, let's not go with amateurs. Let's open it up. Because that way we will not be restricting, but it will be a full inclusion of any artist. The only criteria, a Jamaican living up in the diaspora or of Jamaican descent. So that way we'll get quality. We'll get the young people coming in. We'll get the seasoned people, and we have so many millions of artists here in the diaspora. So that was it.
You mentioned your committee, and just to give the listeners out there an idea in terms of the transparency, and integrity of the competition itself. How many members on your committee?
We have 5.
5. So you at least you can have a tiebreaker if you, in terms of any kind of vote.
That's correct.
And so
I bet he's the tiebreaker.
Hey, you got it right. I sit back and let them do the thing, and they come to me. I give them, inclusion is my philosophy.
So you provide them with the latitude to
Yes.
make the discussion, but if necessary, you are the tiebreak vote.
That's good.
Because one of the issues that you run, certainly one of the obstacles you run into with putting projects like this together is the whole the whole concept of the integrity. You don't want nobody say it's a favoritism thing and that sort of thing. Now, you did say that the entrance, people can come from all over the world. It's not limited to North America per se. For this year's rendition of the tournament, how many initial entries did you receive?
We got this year. We got 1 shorter last year. We got 19.
19.
19.
19. Okay, and so the job was to bring that down to 12.
12.
Correct.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Perfect. No, and from how far and wide were your people coming from?
This year again, we had 2 from Canada this year. The winner from last year is back, and a beautiful singer, Canada female. She's on board, and then we had 1 out of the UK, and the rest were from different states in the USA.
United States of America. I'm asking you all of these questions because it started to put a perspective. We, as you alluded to earlier, as Jamaicans, we are all over the world, and we have one of the largest diaspora as a Caribbean, as a Caribbean island per se, and to be able to pull from that diaspora. Politically, we have always been trying to show the importance of the diaspora, and it would appear that this is one area that you can then where the diaspora, the clout is now showing up. we decided, this is too topical for
Switch
us
gears.
to have gone and switch gears to what we had planned as a program. We are at a little bit of a touch point here as far as the Jamaica 60 celebrations are concerned. And, as youngsters in the media business from our end, and especially our group that is concerned with highlighting the music from a historical and a cultural and a awareness standpoint, we would not have done justice to the topic to have just left it like that. For those who have been asleep or under a rock somewhere, we just want to use the opportunity to remind you that this past week, the Honorable Minister of Culture, and we're only going to focus on the culture part of the portfolio, announced in Parliament that there won't be a festival song contest or a festival song competition this year. Again, and that decision came against a background, as she announced again in Parliament, that they had empaneled a 5-member team of experts to look at the entries that were submitted. And of 123 entries, they only found one song. They then came back after much prodding and thing to say that they identified an additional 2 songs which they felt would, to some degree, meet the criteria. There's one song that they were comfortable with, and then they found 2 additional ones. Now, we as fielders in the media industry, we have a role. We're not here to chastise or to criticize anybody, but we feel that we would not do our role proper service if we have nothing to say on the issue. Jamaica, first of all, has the distinguished reputation of having contributed some 8 genres of music to the world over the last 60-odd. Let's round it down to 70 years, because Mento would have been in the late 1950s, 40s actually, late 40s, 50s, and then we got into some other subgenres, and then we got to ska and so on. And the genres, just for those who are not aware, we talk about dukunu music, which is really folk music prior to the getting to Mento.
The recorded.
Right. And then we got to Nyabingi music. We featured a lot of Nyabingi music in a program recently. And then the Nyabingi genre gave way to ska. The music that you played earlier, God, with Bam Bam. Bam Bam, although we recognize it as a festival song, Bam Bam is actually a Nyabingi tune, right?
It's also like a gospel too, because if you listen to the vocal stylings.
The stylings is because Toots always sang because that was his church influence, and so it came over in almost every song that he produced.
But if you listen to the drum patterns,
the drum pattern, Nyabingi.
Nyabingi drumming.
And then we go prior to that, the song we played earlier, which really wasn't classified as a festival
R&B.
song. Yeah, it wasn't ska.
It was blues, shuffle.
It was a combination of everything: blues, ska, shuffle, everything. But that was Derek Morgan's Forward March, and it was a clarion call. That song for me, as a man who coming into the developing an interest in music, it was a clarion call on the part of the singer to say, we are independent, and it's worth shouting it from the rafters. Forward together, right? As the song said at the outset, forward march. And so this whole concept of festival and celebration is a call to all Jamaicans to join together. And again, my boy said it in the song, we come together because we're independent, and we're celebrating 60 years of independence. It's a significant achievement for our country, and we believe that considering the value of the music, we want to look at how that music, how we have interpreted the clarion call made by Derek Morgan in 1962 from his song, which we adopted as a sort of a independent song. It wasn't because festival started in what was it, 65?
66.
66, right. And this was the Bam Bam won in 66. That was the entry. Now, just to give a background, the whole festival movement came into play because after independence, between 62 and 65, there was clear evidence that the people had become disillusioned, that the kind of prosperity and economic prosperity that was promised, the average man wasn't seeing that. It didn't help that in 63, 64, you had this elevation of strife against Rastafarians. And of course, you had the Coral Gardens incident in 1963. And around the sentiments that were brewing at that time would subsequently lead within 2 to 3 years to the Rodney riots of 1966. So the festival thing was then determined, established to sort of draw Jamaicans out of this malaise and to give them something. We may call it politically as a distraction, but it was designed to sort of throw, to shift people's focus and to, say, hey, we have a whole heap to celebrate.
Yeah, and develop a certain amount of patriotism and raise the morale of the people.
Absolutely. That's the word I'm searching for. It was an opportunity. It was an attempt at raising morale. Listen, a lady called me, would have been either Thursday or Friday, because I think when the news broke, and of course there's a whole heap of different responses as to this, the value of and the impact that the festival song contest have. And, the general view is that yes, after the festival thing done, on the 7th of August, nobody not play them tune again, right? But people felt that in as much as they may not be happy with the messaging from the song. For example, the same one they just played, She Stop, She Go. No, I could never, for the life of me, if I born again 10 times, I can't figure out where that song was going.
But
right?
I can't even realize why it even won in the first.
I can't imagine why, but the fact is, it ended up in the slot, and Jamaica people in those days, because a popular song contest.
What did I say before?
Yeah.
If it have a like a stupid hook,
And it's the hook.
Yeah.
People say, that them remember. And
exactly.
And so it grabbed them. Them go a road and them hear that, and immediately you know where you were.
And then Roy Rayan with his gospel feel, give thanks
well,
and praises.
the church thing will go win every time.
Them
right?
and go squirm, that is.
No, them have to squirm.
Them have to squirm.
And so you wonder, what were these people thinking? But the point though is that
Kotila Mama, Kotila Papa was 1986. That was the, trust me, that was the song.
Well, somebody said to me that,
and then astronauts make a jam. I want a woman.
I want a woman for jam.
Misogynistic.
But again, though, God, a lot of this had developed. A lot of these songs, in fact, came about because they changed the thing to what you call a popular song contest. And so, as Magic just pointed out, if you have a song that have a little rubbish in it, that is that they remember. She stop, she go, she stop. That's what they remember. I doubt if you could ask Jamaican people which other songs were in the competition that year, and I doubt if 5 people could tell you any other song.
I've been searching for the 2nd place and 3rd place winner because we're far superior to that song, but for the life of me, I can't even remember. And unfortunately, the Festival Song Commission does not have a record of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners.
True.
They only put up any search you search anywhere.
Them just put up the winner.
1st place winner.
There you go. So the question that it begs is, are we in fact, and again, we're not knocking anybody, we just, these are agencies that are out there as sort of the guardrails of the island's culture. The music is an integral part of our culture. For 60 years, it's the singers, the songwriters who have taken us, through the paces. Again, to God, Magic, remember, in those early days, who was making the music? Is the little youth them from around the corner, upon the corner, upon the ends, who sit up on the sidewalk. And so a lot of them grow up in this competitive flair. They would have them little area competition. You go in a Jonestown on Ascot Street and Pencil Street, and right under the street light you have man of them, so the youth them have them little singing contest. And you people have bet money, and once whoever win, them give them the pot. That's where I know the thing come from. I stay with my auntie in a Jonestown in the early 1970s, and I witnessed that.
Oh.
And so the extension of that would have been like the contest. In the earlier days, you had Veer John.
Because again, if you really check it out, apart from a Tinga Stewart, I think, well, I'm only speaking out of ignorance. But I only knew about Tinga out of the festival song competition.
Correct.
Brother Roman now was a whole different thing.
Because
but if you notice, apart from the early 60s with Toots and most of these winners, they were established artists. But if you look at the names of the listeners, the singers, apart from a Pam Hall and those other artists, most of the people are relatively unknown.
But that was the purpose of the popular song
It wasn't for the
contest.
big artists them. It was basically for artists who were just there.
The question that I think is being asked, and I can understand that if this is where the organizers are trying to go, is to try to professionalize these competitions. The question though is, are we past the stage where a competition is what is necessary to produce a festival song? And I'd love people out there to provide us with that kind of feedback. But your thoughts, God, are we past that stage?
No, we're not. Paul Michael Campbell says, hire the services of a Mikey Bennett to sit with a group of contestants to structure their songs.
Well,
that's one way to help the competition by raising.
That's an excellent point, because
raising the
standard, the quality of the thing. Right. Well, a gentleman called me this man, and I won't call him name, but a man who's big in the music in Jamaica. And he called me and he said, I hear you on this, some questions you asked at the press conference yesterday. And, for him, the idea that the committee can ask a contest entrant to produce not just a demo, but to produce a recording as an entry for a contest is unfair to the contestant. The fact is, if we are going to be looking, because, at the end of the day, every experience provides an opportunity for us to learn from.
And basically the festival song competition, the heart of it, at the very outset, was to lift the morale of the people. And when you don't have something like this, people feel disenfranchised. If I'm paying $2-3 million worth of tax every year in Jamaica, I'm going to feel away. And that my money I got, what is it going out for?
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yawdmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.